Hey guys, so I just had a little thing happen yesterday that definitely falls into the weird, magical, mystical category. Something that I didn't have anything directly to do with that came in and just kind of solved my problem out of nowhere. Solved multiple problems out of nowhere, if you could call them problems. I actually wasn't really looking at them necessarily as problems, just things that would have to be worked around. But I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to talk about how I felt about it, to sort of make the point that the way you feel about something doesn't necessarily affect anything. Here's another piece of evidence for that. And that your surface thoughts or your surface expectations or what you think is going to have to happen in order for something to be resolved doesn't affect whether or not it will resolve. What this really, to me, seems to demonstrate, this little story I'm about to tell you, what it really seems to demonstrate is that if you exist in a general state of, I can do it, everything's going to work out, I'll find a way to triumph over this one way or another. That's the general state that I have just been bathing in for such a long time now that it's always there. And I find that things like this seem to always, basically anything that, bothers me for a long period of time, like if it continuously comes up, this is a problem, a solution will present itself for that problem. And sometimes in really strange ways. I might actually tell you the other story where this type of thing happened too. But so the thing that just happened that I absolutely could not believe, I was shocked. Since COVID started, the prices on everything have gone up. So for my business, all of the raw materials for my business have risen in price. And I have not raised my prices on my customers at all. And I'm like the only person that hasn't done that. For some reason, everything's just kind of been going good, and I have a lot of money already. I don't need to, I'm going to need to raise my prices on stuff soon, because I can't, obviously I can't just eat all the differences in costs forever. But I was making a lot of money on the products I was selling before. And me just absorbing the rise in raw materials and other price increases just wasn't that big of a deal to me. And I just thought, hey, you know what, we'll be that go-to who hasn't risen any of their prices. Probably a terrible business move, but anyway, so everything stayed the same, and business has been going pretty good. It was amazing during COVID because I service what I sell is something that was beneficial during COVID. I just leave it at that. But the last year things have gotten a little, stale. Like everybody's kind of afraid of inflation and everybody, gas prices have gone, just whatever. As you're a consumer. Everything is just more expensive. So people are spending less money in general, it would appear, based on my sales numbers. Also, my business goes through cycles where, I have a giant mailing list, which is how I do most of my advertising. And that list just kind of gets stale every couple of years. Then I have to do some big advertising blitz type thing. This has been the pattern so far. I don't know if that'll have to happen again, but basically the list gets a little stale. So people tend to collect the item that I sell rather than using it. And so people will basically get everything I have eventually, and there's just nothing else for them to buy. Which is really funny. If you knew what I sold, you'd think it was pretty funny, I think, that they're doing that with this stuff. But so whatever. This has kind of been creeping up on me all year. Just sort of, we're making less money on this stuff and prices are going up, and who knows where this inflation's going to end up. The money that we've already accumulated is worth less, because of inflation. Stock market isn't doing super hot. A lot of investments that we've had are nothing is really doing very well in that area. So it's just been like, I'm not too worried about it. I lived through the 2008 thing and everything bounced back from that. It always does, and it probably will again. And there's really no reason to stress out about it. So I really don't. I don't spend much time thinking about this at all or worrying about it. But there's that little feeling there. There's just that little feeling there. And recently, the USPS hiked their rates again significantly in preparation for holiday mail and stuff. And I was just really like, it was like a tipping point for me with them. And they're like, when I first started my business, a flat rate priority envelope cost like $3.75 to mail. Now it had just gotten up to somewhere in the $9. And I was just like, this is crazy. Like, shit has tripled in the last, like, however long it's been, since 2011. Shit has tripled. This is nuts. I can't believe that it costs, almost $10 to ship, like, the smallest, forget the bigger stuff. That's just, like, insane. And of course, all my customers hate paying shipping fees, but I'm one of the only places that charges shipping fees and the actual cost of products, rather than bamboozling people into thinking that they're getting a good deal on shipping while having higher prices. I just prefer to operate. I realize I could exploit people's psychology a lot more than I am. This isn't like, I'm not privy to this, but I just don't do that. It's just not how I operate. So, and it's worked for me so far. But this shipping thing, man, I was just like, the last few weeks, every time I go to like, I do all of the shipping printing, like I do all of the postage printing for my business. I've not been willing to relinquish that to anybody else yet. To me, that's like the most important thing. Is, make sure the right stuff gets to the right people. I need to be the one orchestrating that. And every time I've gone to print this stuff, I'm just like, oh, God, like this sinking feeling, like this is not getting better. This is only getting worse. This is crazy. Like I really can't raise shipping rates anymore. I already have my base shipping rate is $9.99. Like you pretty much have to pay $9.99 for everything, or $8.99, something like that. And on my site, and just can't get into the 10. There's a psychological problem for people paying $10.99 versus $9.99. So I'm just like, man, I don't know what the solution to this problem is. I think what I'm going to have to do is raise my prices on my products finally. And I'm really going to have to spend a lot of money on advertising, probably. I'm going to have to focus on the advertising, focus on growing my customer base versus, continuing to, try to tantalize the people I currently am selling to. Like, I need fresh people in here. That's the only solution to this problem. The only solution to this problem is, advertising. I'm saying this for a reason. This was what I was thinking. This is what I need to focus on. No solution to the mail problem. The postage problem. No solution to that. There's really no solution to that. This isn't getting better. It's only getting worse. This was my thought process for the whole last couple weeks. I don't try to control that kind of stuff. I don't see a really good reason to. Like, it's just my rational brain doing its rational thing. And it doesn't seem to affect anything, as you'll see. So 2 weeks, I would say. I could look up the exact date when they hiked their rates. Since then, I've just had this bad feeling with me all the time. And then also, a few days ago, I was having a conversation with my ex, who I'm still financial partners with overall. Our finances are all still combined. We built this business together. And we own a couple properties. I own my house outright myself. He's not involved with that. But everything else is a joint thing. The house we bought together is still both of our house. Still both of ours. And I was talking to him about the fact that we really need to get ready to, we need to have our houses ready to sell, was what I was telling him. I was just like, if a big hot market comes in again, we live in an area where something interesting is happening. I was saying, look, if there's a big influx of people to our area because of this interesting thing that's happening, we should be ready to sell. Because I don't really want to live here if there's going to be a ton of people moving here, and it'll probably jack up the prices of our real estate. So we need to at least be ready. I don't want to have to scramble to get a house ready to sell if there's an opportunity. I want to be ready for it. So, we need to do these things anyway. We need to commit to remodeling all the bathrooms in both of our houses, the one that I own by myself and the one that that we both own. So I was like, look, it's probably going to be 50 grand. We need to just get used to that. We're going to have to spend that. I know we don't want to do that in this particular climate. Everything we have is tied up in investments that now is not a good time to sell. So we're illiquid right now. And I bought my house with cash. So basically we're tapped out of cash right now for stuff like, you know, bathroom remodels. But I just said, hey, we need 50 grand. Like, we need to just focus on that. Like, cause I know it'll come. You know what I mean? I was like, look, if we decide we're going to remodel the 3 bathrooms next year, there will be an opportunity where there is an extra 50 grand sitting there for some reason. And we just need to be mentally ready to spend it and do the annoying contracting and stuff. And I was telling him this now because it takes him forever to prepare for something like that mentally. He's not good with change. He doesn't like people in his house doing stuff. And I had just sort of gotten him used to that because I hired somebody to come and fix all of the disastrous weed overgrowth in his backyard, and he ended up really liking the result. And so I was like, okay, he's primed. He's primed. I got to bring up the bathroom now. And so we had just had that conversation literally 2 days ago. It's Friday now. It was Tuesday afternoon. We had this conversation about the bathrooms. And yesterday morning, so I'm painting the picture here for you. This has been the last 2 weeks of my life and involved both of these things, both these conversations, and the amount of $50,000. And the sort of what a lot of manifestation people would consider to be negative thinking about it. Or, you know, I wasn't really coming at it from a negative place, but I had a negative expectancy about some solutions to this. Yesterday morning, I got to work. I went to go print some postage out for stuff that needed to get shipped out yesterday. And I noticed that the shipping rates were like way lower. And my first thought was, oh, God damn it. Something is wrong with the postage software. Something's wrong with, great. I'm going to have to print all this shit. It's going to be for the wrong costs. And then they're going to like hit me with the adjustment or something. How annoying. And then I thought, what the hell? I'm just going to go to the website. I go to the website, and apparently stamps.com, who's the person that I use for my postage, just like worked out some deal with the USPS for way lower rates. And here's the thing that is insane. I did the math, and this postage decrease is going to save me approximately $50,000 next year or more. If I get more business, which is the idea, you know, it'll save me $50,000. And it took me a minute to even remember that I'd had the conversation about $50,000. I even said to my ex, Matt and I will, and by the way, that was my amount in my mind for my wedding. That exact amount. I even said to my ex, if we have to, Matt and I will just get married in Vegas and we'll just use the money that I was going to use. You know, I don't want to, we don't need to have two $50,000 expenses in 1 year during this particular time. I'll just, Matt and I will just get married in Vegas. We don't really care. We don't really have to have a big wedding. It's no big deal. We'll just use that money. That was the money that was earmarked in my mind for next year for us getting married. So I don't know. I thought the fact that will save $50,000 was pretty mind blowing. And it just like, who would have thought that anything that went up would go back down again? I don't even know how they managed to work this out with the USPS. I don't have any clue how that was even possible. I mean, it's just a bunch of random customers across the country using stamps.com. I'm not sure, I'm not a super business whiz, but I really don't know why that would even be possible. I don't know how that could possibly have benefited the USPS. But it happened, and it happened really fast. And it happened even though I was thinking this postage thing has no solution. And I need to divert my attention to some other solution. I need to compensate for this problem by fixing something else. By, I need to make up for this in volume. So I don't know. My mind was fucking blown by that. And that kind of stuff happens to me all the freaking time. I'm sure I've made, probably dozens at this point of other videos where there's been something like this that's happened. And it gets kind of spooky. And this is the magic for me. It's not like it's a stretch that a lot of other people were feeling the same squeeze I was with the postage. It's not like it wasn't a problem that needed to be addressed. This is the whole it happens so naturally you think it would have happened anyway. Except this one for me is just like prices don't come down. They just go up, you know? And despite the fact that that is my general experience and belief, that didn't change it from happening anyway. Because, and I'm attributing this to the fact that deep down, I really just think everything always works out for me. It really does. I can fix any problem that comes up. Even if there's no solution to it, I can find a way around it. I can find a way to fix it. I made a video a couple days ago, 2 videos, whatever, the one before the last one, about this. And I'll link to that. But it's, to me, this is, you know, I attribute almost everything to this. Of course, I don't know. I don't have a definitive answer to this. But when you see something happening over and over and over again, I don't know, for me anyway, I want to try to explain it and figure it out. But at this point, the only thing I can say about it is that that is my general overall attitude towards life, is that even if there is an unsolvable problem, I will adapt and compensate and move forward regardless. Always. That's my personal philosophy. It's always moving forward, always progressing. So that's just another way something just worked out in a crazy huge way with an exact dollar amount that matched all the thoughts and conversations out of nowhere. Never would have expected it. It's just crazy. So anyway, that I just wanted to tell that little story, and I don't know, I hope that inspires you or entertained you or helps somebody or something. Have a great day.